What's going on, everybody? This is MuviesHQ, your place for casual movie reviews. As always, I'm with Helen.
Hi.
And I'm Q. And today we have a special guest, my younger brother and one of the co-hosts of Apartment Shenanigans, Avery.
Hello, hello.
Avery, before we start, would you like to plug your show a little bit?
Sure. We have a podcast called Apartment Shenanigans, a few episodes deep, and we just talk about really whatever we feel like. It's me and my roommate, Ben. Talk about games, movies, tech news, updates, and really whatever we have on our mind. So if you have any interest at all, just go ahead and check us out and find the episodes that you're interested in.
Okay, cool. So after that, Avery's going to help me and Helen review this movie. And today we're going to review Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindlewald. So, for y'all don't know, MuviesHQ, we review movies using a 5-category system. We judge on a scale from 1 to 10. We look at cast, plot, directing, production design, and sound of the movie. We average these categories and give the movie's overall rating. For those of you that have not joined us before, this is going to be a spoiler review, so here's your spoiler warning. But besides that, let's get started. So, again, the movie is Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindlewald. It was directed by David Yates. What did you guys think? What were you guys' first impressions of the movie?
I liked it a lot. I have some complaints, some nitpicks, but overall I thought it was a really good and fun experience.
Okay. Helen?
As a loyal fan, Hufflepuff, and lover of all things Harry Potter,
I didn't know you were a Hufflepuff.
I am. This movie was atrocious and unnecessary. Magical, but unnecessary. I will hold my thoughts and opinions and lecture for the rest of
Very interesting, just because I know you're a big Harry Potter fan, and so am I. I don't know who's bigger at all, but I found that interesting.
It's 100% her. Okay, so my first impressions, I enjoyed the movie as well. So it's good to go back into the Harry Potter world. It's a prequel, so obviously not following the adventures of Ron, Hermione, and them. It's still a new Scamander story, but I think he kind of got hijacked by kind of some previous character. Grindelwald and Dumbledore, I think, kind of stole the show in their own little way, even though they weren't that in the mix. But I would say it was an overall pretty good movie as well. So, going off that, so let's talk about the cast, right? So there's it's a Harry Potter movie, right? So there's a lot of characters.
It's not a Harry Potter movie.
Harry Potter, what you call it?
Spin-off.
Universe.
It's a spin-off series.
Harry Potter universe movie. There you go. That's
Wizarding World.
Wizarding World. So there's a lot of characters. So let's dive into some of the characters. Let's talk. So Crimes of Grindlewald, right? So Grindelwald. Let's talk about Grindelwald. What are your first thoughts on him?
It's Grindelwald.
Grindelwald.
I'm not even going to attempt to say that.
It is. You're supposed to say it with a V. Grindelwald.
It's a W. Wald.
Yeah, but you pronounce it differently.
Whatever. Grindelwald. Johnny Depp's character.
Johnny Depp.
What do we think about him? Main character, big bad, basically the Voldemort of the series. Is he living up to the hype, or?
I would say it's really interesting just comparing to Voldemort, how different they're approaching what they're trying to do with the control of the Wizarding World and the Muggle world, or Nomad world. I was a little Nomad. I was a little concerned after the first movie. You only see Johnny Depp for 5 seconds. He says 2 lines, and one was just confusing. So. But I think he did a really good job. Like you said, he did steal the show a little bit. Had a lot of screen time. I don't know total, but
Well, it's his movie.
Yeah,
Crimes of Grindlewald.
It's in the title. Yeah. So overall, I would say he did a good job, and he lived up to my expectations for him.
So did he bring that menacing presence you were expecting for a villain? What do you think, Helen? Helen, you seem like you're holding back something. What's going on?
I want to see what you were gonna say.
I'm trying to compare him to a specific villain. I can't get the name out right now, but he just has he's very he knows how to work with people. He's manipulative, and he has just great interpersonal skills, and that's what gets the people on his side. Mm-hmm. So he's not relatable, but he empathizes with everyone.
I would agree. So I like Grindelwald in the fact that he's a master manipulator. He knows how to he knows what people want. He knows how to tap into that, and that's how he builds his army. You can always tell whenever he's in the room, he's in complete control at all times. Whether he's in prison, he's in front of people, if he's talking one-on-one, he seems to have complete mastery control of what's going on. Similar to Dumbledore in that regard, which is why I think it's so interesting seeing those two together. So I enjoyed his performance. You still see the Johnny Depp-isms, like in all his characters, I think. Like when I look at Grindelwald, I see Jack Sparrow a little bit. I see that Willy Wonka. I see the other things he's done in the past. Like you just, because that's what happens when you have an actor that's been around for that long. You start meshing things together.
Well, he's just a weird guy playing weird guys.
Which that's why it's a good.
It works.
So what do you think about Grindelwald, Helen?
I was disappointed, but not as disappointed as I thought I would be from, again, the first Fantastic Beasts. That did get me worried. The same thing was like, hi, I'm here, blah, blah, blah. But he's different than Voldemort, so I can't really... They're not after the same thing. So Grindelwald is definitely more persuasive, and he definitely knows how to speak, like you said, the intrapersonal communication. Intra or inter?
Inter.
Okay.
Interpersonal is like one-on-one people.
Oh, yeah. So he knows how to communicate with people to get what he wants. It's not necessarily what they want, but I thought that was good, and they definitely conveyed that very well. Other than that, again, we didn't really see much of him. I expected more. We saw his crimes that he did. Actually, no. We didn't see any crimes that he did. No, we saw...
The first scene, when he broke out, that was like the only crime he committed. The rest of it was...
he killed 3 people.
Okay, yeah.
However, again, he never raised the wand. So technically, it was never him.
But even the first movie... all the newspapers that go through, like, you know, he's a criminal, you know, he's done a lot of bad things, but they don't show you. They just tell you about it and they hint at it.
Is Azkaban not around yet?
No, it is, because someone said they'll lock you up. I think it was Jacob. He said, Queenie, they'll lock you up and bring you to Azkaban if they know we're married or something like that.
That's right. Why didn't they just put him in there?
I mean, he was going to transfer. He had to be tried in Europe. He was held in the United States.
Yeah, so I guess then they would take him to Azkaban.
Yeah. Azkaban's in Europe, so...
Yeah, so that's why they're holding... Okay, that makes more sense. But yeah, no, he was okay. I mean, I love Johnny Depp. Add anything, I don't think.
Okay.
To the movie, though.
So what about his mirror, Dumbledore? So Dumbledore's a fan favorite in the original Harry Potters. And I know a lot of people, especially the females in the crowd, when they first saw Jude Law...
they swooned.
They swooned a little bit.
Because I swooned because, yes, it is Jude Law, but also because that's exactly how I pictured Dumbledore younger. Like, good looking, maybe too, but, you know, very put together, slightly gay, possibly.
I feel a little weird, like, when they casted him, I saw it, I was like, really? But then... The way he portrayed him, it was
his
perfect.
Voice. Yeah, he has that.
Like some of the lines he says, if you just think old Dumbledore saying it, is like that's perfect. But like
Richard Harris Dumbledore,
he was great.
Not Michael Gabon Dumbledore. I hate Michael Gabon Dumbledore.
Okay, hate, strong word.
I don't hate it. He just had a different portrayal to him. It was more...
Dumbledore would never put his hands on a student. Never.
That's one scene that everyone loves to pick apart.
Okay, not talking about that movie. We can do another review on that one. But just Dumbledore in this movie. I liked him too. I thought he brought a lot of swag to him.
He was still mysterious.
Still, again, like I said, Grindelwald seemed to always have control of the room. Dumbledore, you definitely knew always had control of the room at every point. He's the one that basically kicked the motions off in the first movie. You find out in this movie, he sent Newt again to go confront Grindelwald, and by the end of it, he did exactly what he needed to. We see all these adventures with Newt, but ends up getting the little vial, the little blood oath vial.
The what?
The blood
oath vial.
Oh, I did not hear blood oath.
He said the blood vial.
The blood vial.
Blood oath vial.
You know what though? Richard Harris has a son, but it's just funny because honestly, like they should have cast him, but I think he's too old now as young Dumbledore, and that would have been cool because they have that same voice, same twinkle in their eyes. That's what it was. Jude Law had a twinkle in his eyes that the first Dumbledore had, and that to me was like he got it.
Perfect. Okay, so and then Grindelwald and Dumbledore. So Lovers? Friends? A little more? A little less?
Both.
What's going on there?
Everything. All the above.
They touch each other's wands.
They do touch each other's one. Yeah, so I thought that was, cause I think everyone going into the movie was kind of like, yeah, why can't these guys fight each other? But I think that was a very creative way and meaningful way to make sure
that was my favorite twist of the movie. Like I told you about that previously, just the fact that it was the actual reason for reasons we don't know why, we don't know what the blood vial has to do with it. We don't know like if someone will die, if a curse will happen, but we know there is like an actual reason. It's not just his emotions with being his brother, more than brother, friend.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's go to our quote-unquote main character, Newt Scamander. What y'all think of Newt?
Great as always.
Great as always.
Yeah.
Eddie Redmayne does an amazing job with him. His awkwardness, his tendencies. Even the young actor who played him did a great job.
It's so... yes.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a surprise. I
Like
was
even
like...
just his awkwardness, not making eye contact with everyone. Like I was like, that's Newt. That's young Newt.
And he's a very one-dimensional character. Like, usually I have dynamic characters that change. And he changed a little bit. He picked a side, as he said, and then in the movie. Mm-hmm. But usually one-dimensional characters, you don't really like them, in my experience, as much as you like dynamic characters. But Newt, I think it's just the pureness of him and the fact that he's willing to loves every creatures that we are terrified of shiver at. He sees them as little puppies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the world.
I'll say his awkwardness is like really like what's charismatic about him. He's just like I know I was talking to someone about it. They're like, he's so awkward. I just want to hold him. Like, I don't know. You not even that you can relate to him unless you have like really bad social anxiety or just social problems in general. Not problems, but I can't think of the right word. But people can relate to him if they have that. But just those kind of tendencies. Some people just don't like making eye contact. Some people don't like
people. Yeah.
I would say he just connects with animals and creatures. And I think that was cool that they showed that. But you could see how oblivious he was to things. Like the woman that helped him.
Oh, Lestrange.
Not
Bunty,
Lestrange.
his assistant.
His assistant.
Bunty, yeah.
She obviously was like...
has feelings for him.
And I'm like...
You can take your shirt off.
Yo, and he's just like, oh, no, why would I do that? So I thought that was really cute that they showed that. And then they also... Yeah, they made him awkward as ever, which was so cute.
Well, speaking of his other half, Tina. Tina, what's her last name?
Who?
Tina...
She was barely in it.
Tina Goldstein. So she was barely in it, but there's kind of a reason for that, right? She was avoiding Newt because madly in love with him and just reading a newspaper the wrong way. The two more famous people got paired together, Lestrange
But
and Newt.
nothing became of that.
They had their little moment. They basically reconnected in the what was that place called? The Memory Record place. And he told her his eyes looked like a salamander eventually, and that was actually touching. Which
That was really cute.
I don't think anyone thought it would be, but this just shows how.
And she understood because she finished the sentence for him.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of crazy because there's pretty much no one on the world that understands Newt, but apparently Tina's that one.
Mm-hmm. And for anyone who doesn't know, or even like, it's slight spoilers, I guess, for future movies, but like they do end up getting married and have kids.
How do you know that?
It's over Pottermore and everything.
Oh, Pottermore? Mm-hmm. Oh, gotcha. So I didn't know that.
Now you do.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, if she finished, her eyes look like salamanders. I think they are made for each other.
There's actually a popular theory that, well, it can't happen now, but how Tina and Lita were both kind of, I guess you could say, lovers. That and J.K. Rowling said that Newt's Patronus is a really big spoiler topic, and your Patronus basically it can change due to who you love. In the original series, Nymphadora Tonks, her Patronus changed to a werewolf after she fell in love with Lupin. And people were theorizing that Newt's Patronus, when it was revealed, it'll be revealed as a porcupine for Tina, Porpentina, and it'll show that he loves her and not Lita.
Aww. But
Lita's dead. So.
Wow.
Anyway. All right, so let's keep it in the family. So, Queenie, sister of Tina. Queenie, correct. Thank you.
You're Quentin. She's Queenie.
I said, whatever. So, Queenie, what y'all think of her?
She's annoying.
Annoying? kind of rapey a little bit too, a little drug rapey.
I would be careful how you use that word.
Well, she like date raped her man with an enchantment.
It was an enchantment. Not it wasn't a drug.
Enchantment is her drug of choice, okay?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like,
don't judge.
And Jacob took it pretty well.
He did. Yeah.
For someone to be held against his will to go marry someone.
He loves her.
I mean, he does love her, but yeah. But so, you thought that was an inner character? You think it was out of character for her to do something like that, or?
I don't think they were consistent with her. Like, in the first movie, they show how her being able to read minds kind of makes her act different, changes sometimes how she thinks, how she acts. Mm-hmm. But in this one, it was just like, okay, yeah, remember how she can read minds? Well, here she's going to read minds all at once, and then you're never going to see it again. She should have been able to read Grindelwald's assistant's minds, at least, to know. Like,
there's something darker underneath all of this.
Well, do we know maybe they're really good at occlumency as well? So,
I don't know if they're necessarily good at occlumency. I think, truly, everyone
thinks they're doing good.
Thinks they're doing good. Mm. Now, I think Grindelwald has a grander plan, but everyone thinks, like, Queenie's going for love. Queenie's going for love. Others are going, like, maybe they think no magic really shouldn't exist, or they should be separate. And, like, it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's going along with the views of what they're doing. And I don't think she necessarily sees it as this is the best way. She thinks this is a step towards the change that will help her out. You know what I mean? Sometimes this is...
Well, and that's why I wish we kind of got a backstory, because there were obviously two of his followers that were the top dogs, you know, like his right-hand man type of thing. And they didn't really cover, and I wish they went into that, because again, that would make more sense, and I wouldn't have those questions.
Yeah, I thought I wouldn't say they changed their character, but they definitely did not a full 180, but they kind of they veered to the right a little bit, and I really liked her character. Her character, like, she was the one who saved the day in the first movie, or at least partially saved the day. And in this movie, when you first introduced her, like, she was a little crazy, and it was a little off-putting. Like, I was like, is she under any kind of enchantment for the way she was acting? But I understand her point of view and why she did what she did. But overall, I think they could have took her character a different way.
Also, what I was kind of thrown off was, so she reads minds all the time, right? And Jacob, they got in an argument, and he thought one bad thing, and she, like, completely freaked out. There's no way you've been dating someone for months, and he's never thought of a bad thing. Right. And you've heard it, and you didn't. Like, you have to be used to, like, nasty things. People think things all the time.
We don't know how long he was enchanted for, though.
This is true.
He could have been enchanted from
the time the movie ended. The first movie ended.
That was what, months after, I think it said? 2 or 3 months?
I'm not sure how long. I just know it was in 1927. I'm not sure if the first one was that year or not.
Okay. One more little pair. Let's talk about Lestrange and Credence. Two characters kind of necessarily drove the movie, but the movie kind of revolved around them a bit. Like, Credence didn't have too much screen time, but most of the conversation was about him.
I would say the plot was definitely about Credence and Grindelwald.
Yeah, but Credence wasn't really on the screen. Like, we see Credence kind of pop up, like, where's my family? Get attacked.
I'm tired of him saying that.
I mean, that's just what he's on a one-track mind. Then you have Lestrange. We followed her, so she was very... I mean, obviously, like, just hearing Lestrange kind of triggers everyone in the Harry Potter world, right? So it was nice seeing her. And then to see the fact that she's pretty much on the good side, like, completely. Definitely fell in love with Newt. Went to her brother, which he kind of...
that's kind of petty. She's like, oh, I can't get Newt. Okay.
I'll get
Take number 2.
Get the less awkward one.
And the next best thing.
The cuter one.
So, but I think that was interesting. And then the fake out. So the whole movie, as we're going through, we're thinking, well, that's more of the plot. But what do you guys think about those two characters?
I like Lita. I thought you obviously knew she was holding something in, because why would she act out like that at Hogwarts, especially when they can kick you out? They can't. I guess they wouldn't, but she was acting crazy. at Hogwarts when she was a kid.
You think? What she do that was so crazy?
She was like bullying people.
People were bullying her.
Oh no, they were bullying her.
She got bullied,
yeah.
and then she
retaliated.
Which,
yeah, but that's still mean.
I mean, look at Ron. He tried defending Hermione when she was called a mudbug, and then his curse got rebounded.
How dare you say that? I guess it's like a kid thing.
Yeah, I mean, bullies. There's just magic in this world, so you can zip someone.
Yeah, but I liked that they showed her worst fear. Mm-hmm. But again, I don't think that was her worst fear. That was what she was most.
I mean, fear is, I guess, a perception.
I guess, or maybe because she couldn't see it.
Or maybe her fear was people knowing about that.
Or her fear was just her not knowing what truly happened. What
truly happened. That's how I took it. Okay. So I think that's what they were going for.
Okay.
She was good.
And Credence?
You can put any actor in there.
Just there, yeah.
And be Credence. Like, Ezra Miller doesn't add anything. He doesn't take away from anything either.
Just right down the middle.
He's just, hey, I'm Ezra Miller. I'm here for the fashion.
He's definitely a one-note character from the first and second.
Yeah.
What about, so you're on the same line as that. What do you think of Lestrange, Avery?
I liked her. I was really curious what they're going to do with her because, the name was dropped in the first movie and everyone freaked out. And so many theories are going around, but I wish she stayed. I hope she can come back somehow. Maybe she does, and it would explain the whole family tree stuff.
She's on the planet wherever everyone is in Infinity Wars. That's where she is. She's definitely.
She got Thanos.
She's stuck in the Soul Stone.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, and then one more character I want to talk about, Nagini. I think that was kind of like a strange Easter egg that became like a character. What are your thoughts on Nagini?
I think basically J.K. Rowling was bored one day and was like, how can we get an Easter egg about his snake? And I was like, well, I guess it can be a woman at the circus. Here we go. Honestly, I think that's what happened because why would Credence be in a circus?
And the other thing is, too, no one knew what a maledictus was, which is what people are who have that blood curse, until a few months before the movie dropped. She put on Pottermore the definition of a maledictus. And, if she hinted at that or said that word somewhere in the original series, maybe she would have, it would be more believable that she had this in her mind.
I didn't read anything leading up to this. Mm-hmm. I ignored Pottermore. I ignored everything so that I didn't know anything. Mm-hmm. I had seen that. I'd been like, oh, she's an animagus, but
right,
a blood why couldn't she be why go and change it up?
Yeah, and the whole thing is it's a person who's born with a blood curse, which in the movie they explain eventually they're going to cannot transform back to a human, but it's passed on to daughters, not sons.
So then can you put in technically then the Horcrux, his last Horcrux was inside another person.
Mm-hmm. Just like how Harry was. Man. Yep. But Harry was an accident, Nagini wasn't. And who knows, maybe Voldemort did know Nagini was a human because he could talk to snakes. Maybe he didn't.
It's definitely not a mistake. I don't think that he picked Nagini.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, it's still a big mystery. It's pretty much an Easter egg at this point. But we have 3 more movies to figure out. So Avery, what'd you have for cast 1 out of 10?
I actually put a 9. I think the casting of these movies are great overall. We already talked about Dumbledore and knew how great they are. Supporting cast, Lita, everything. The ones they added with Theseus and his brother, I thought they did a good job. Their design, their costumes that they wear, or outfits in the movie, I think it fits the time perfectly, and it fits everyone's personality. With Theseus being a war veteran, he is wearing a suit just like the Ministry, and it shows his strictness, profession, and what he does. I mentioned months ago when the first trailer dropped that Theseus is even he holds his wand like a gun sometimes, and small things like that. Nagini's outfit had scales like a snake. They actually darkened Newt's blue coat to show the darker theme of this movie compared to the first movie. Just small things like that with the costume design. I thought they did an amazing job.
I'm actually giving it a 9. Helen, what do you think for the cast?
I gave it a 6. I don't think so. I gave it 6 because based on the first movie, everybody that made a reappearance, they didn't change, except maybe Queenie. That's it. So then I thought, okay, well, how much did the new people add? And it wasn't enough to me, in my opinion. Theseus was my favorite person because, again, it showed, oh, Newt's brother is normal. But other than that, I wasn't impressed.
Okay, 6. So I gave it a cast of 7. So I think we're kind of in the middle ground of you two, and my score too. So I really like the characters. I like them a lot, like you said, Avery. But I think what you said, Helen. So I think there's a lot of characters in this movie, and I think this kind of hurts it because no character has the time to wow us. Because when you have, I mean, just in the discussion alone, we talked about like 9 different characters, and they all have their little time to shine. But I think a good character for a movie to give me to that upper range, you need to have that full deep dive into the psyche, and you just can't have that with this many characters in a movie. I think over time, and probably by the end of this movie series, we'll get to there because J.K. Rowling, I mean, she's made so many memorable characters that I know these characters over time will end up getting there. Maybe not at everyone's standards, but I think overall we'll get there. But I had a 7 overall. So that takes us over to plot. So the plot of this movie, beginning, middle, and end, what do you guys think about it?
Okay. Well, the plot was awful. We did not need any of the movie. Yeah, we didn't need any of the movie, actually. It was very unnecessary. What did you guys think?
That's it. Oh, God. That's hilarious.
Waste of time. Go. Got it. What did you think, Avery?
I thought it was a little slow at times, but I think the pacing of the movie was... It hurt because this is the second movie of a 5-movie series. And you're always going to have something that's going to hurt when it comes to building a world. Like, the world's built, yes, but we don't know everything in the American wizarding world. And we don't have the books to rely on to this. So everything needs to be built somewhere. And if it's just small little dialogue points, that's one thing. But I think the plot of the movie, it all made sense of the overarching story. And I did enjoy it. But I do have some complaints about it overall. So
okay. So me, I like the plot. So the movie's called Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindlewald, and we found out basically it follows Grindelwald building his army, his manipulating, his winning over of the people, and he did that in multiple different ways. Basically, hit the dominoes and put them in motion. So what I believe this movie was setting the stage for the movies to come. Now I think that's very I won't say out of character. It's not what we're used to. We're used to deep character studies on Ron, Hermione, and all them. But this wasn't that kind of movie. You're supposed to just observe the world and see how it's changing, pretty much for the worse.
And like also, this is Grindelwald's movie, like you mentioned that earlier, and we didn't have any of Johnny Depp's Grindelwald in the first movie.
Yep.
Only in this movie. The original Harry Potter series, just comparing it to that, we are seeing it only from Harry's point of view, the kid's point of view. So we grow with them a lot more. We're not bouncing around other characters like we mentioned as well. Mm-hmm. This one is bouncing around other adults, and it's not even from Newt's perspective in this movie. It's everyone's perspective.
Yep. So I think, I think this movie is just not the standard Harry Potter universe point of view, which I think is going to rub fans the wrong way, which I think is definitely rubbed Helen the wrong way. But I enjoyed that movie for building that world. So now the stage is set. So I would expect the future movies see a more detailed, character-driven story, and we'll get into whatever awaits everyone going forward. You want to talk about any plot points you guys thought like kind of stuck on?
I have a few.
Okay.
Well, first off, one of you mentioned something about we don't really know much about the Wizarding world in America.
That was Avery, yeah.
But this is not set in America?
Yeah, I don't know how I said that either.
So, which again brings me to a point that it doesn't even matter where this is set in. Nothing mattered. I don't know why they went to France. That made no sense to me. They did not have to go to France. They could have stayed in London. Or America, I guess.
That's where Credence was.
Oh, that's right.
That's why they went there.
That's right. So I guess that makes sense.
I feel like you're just trying to find points to hate this.
I'm not. It really just if the twist at the end was not revealed, what would have become of the movie? Where would it end?
Which twist are you talking about?
There's only one.
Credence and
Credence.
Dumbledore.
Credence Dumbledore. I was thinking Credence Dumbledore with the whole blood thing.
It wasn't a twist. They knew that mid-movie. The big twist is Credence is a Dumbledore.
Okay.
That's the big twist.
So you're saying without the twist?
Without the twist, what would the movie, like, where would the movie have concluded? What would have...
That movie was showing how Grindelwald
builds his
escaped
following.
and built his army.
We already knew that.
No, we
didn't.
Yes, we did.
We knew he was a powerful
Harry Potter books.
We knew he was a powerful dark wizard, and we knew that he had the Elder Wand, and we knew that's
And they didn't
really
touch base on the Elder Wand here.
Why did they have to?
See, because they needed to.
Because you wanted them to.
They don't have
No,
that. So again,
because okay, this is why they should have. Because Harry Potter in Godric's Hollow, they see the Deathly Hallows symbol. And in Dumbledore and Grindelwald's letters to each other, they have the Deathly Hallows. Mm-hmm. So they should have at least mentioned that he had the Elder Wand.
So again, I think all these details that you want are coming. We still don't know anything about...
Then why are there 5 movies?
Because they're coming later. So the first movie...
Everything sorry to cut you off real fast.
Go ahead.
Everything we know about Grindelwald is from the future.
Yes.
We need to get to that future. So things need to build slowly to find out what happened.
And the only person that knows about Grindelwald that the story will naturally tell us about is Dumbledore. And Dumbledore's one of the most mysterious characters in the whole Harry Potter universe. The first movie built a new world.
Let's go back to the circus thing.
Okay.
Why?
He's looking for his family. Who travels all the time and can give you a job? A circus. I'm a kid that can do nothing. He's just a janitor.
And maybe it's like not even that. Maybe he just he was captured. Like he escaped. He said we need to escape. He got captured. We don't know how he got captured. Maybe
he wasn't captured.
I'm saying like we don't know.
Oh yeah.
Like if he was captured, we don't know if he voluntarily went there. We don't know if he met Nagini and chose to join the circus because of her. There's a lot of things we don't know. They just don't
and
tell
that
us
should have been explained.
But it's not important.
That doesn't need to be explained.
We just need to know that he's looking for his family, and this is where the story takes place of him looking for his family.
I think again, you're going off Harry Potter book knowledge.
I'm not.
All those little things don't need to be explained in the movie. Those are things you just inference. Now in a book, you can go through all those different details, like he went to here, blah 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 blah. But it's a movie. You have to trust your audience a lot in the movie.
And you have to condense a lot of information.
Exactly like the Elder Wand. We saw everyone watching these movies has probably seen all the Harry Potter movies. They know about the Deathly Hallows.
I disagree.
I mean, maybe it's a lot of people might be getting into these movies and going back to watching Harry Potter.
And also, we don't.
That I think is more likely.
Like a new generation, like how Star Wars happened.
But what character in the established world we have right now could actually explain the Deathly Hallows?
Only
Dumbledore.
And do you think Dumbledore's going to explain it to anybody unless he truly has to? When he's trying to keep everything, considering Grindelwald under the vest.
And think about how long it took him to tell Harry, and Harry was a Horcrux. He didn't tell Harry until after Harry was dead, basically.
Because he couldn't. Because Harry had to die.
He could have told him more information. He did. Even Harry says, Dumbledore, you didn't tell me anything. You left me by myself to do this. Why didn't you help? Why didn't you share more? Dumbledore doesn't share anything, even with people he trusts.
Well, yeah, that I know.
And then we didn't know anything about the Deathly Hallows until when? In the books.
Okay, but explain to me the purpose of this movie.
Grindelwald building his army.
So then not the plot at the end. The twist at the end.
No, that's it to get the next movie. You have to have a cliffhanger to get people interested in the next movie somehow.
That was just it.
The first movie, the cliffhanger was Graves was Grindelwald. And movie ended.
Boom.
Every movie has to have something if it's going to have sequels.
I just don't.
I think you're looking for a true beginning, middle, and end in a 5.
I'm not. It's just an unnecessary movie.
So I will say this. Look at these movies. Think of this as like there's 5 acts. 5 movies, 5 acts. You're only in act 2. There's a lot of information still not left because it's not complete yet. Like, I bet you once this is all said and done, you watch all 5. most of your questions will be answered.
And if not, JK will do a JK thing and
Put
reveal
it
on
on
Twitter or Pottermore.
So, are there a lot of answers in Stones Unturned? Yes. Does the overarching plot make
But there was a
sense?
lot of stuff thrown in for the sake of being thrown into this movie that I don't think had to be. Nicholas Flamel, I like seeing him. He didn't have to be there. You didn't need that Easter egg. You already knew who he was.
But we knew he was living there, and if people knew he was going to be in that area and they didn't have him in the movie, people would complain.
And I think he's part of a bigger organization. The fact they opened up a little book and flipped and talked to somebody.
It might be like the First Order of Phoenix before they were the Order of Phoenix, maybe.
Yeah.
But these are all things we don't know yet.
And and if you think too,
And what did they do? And what was the thing that they did at the end to conceal or
something that he
at the graveyard?
Yeah, something that Nicholas Flamel knew what to do if he has the person he was
Okay,
talking
but again,
to.
that's something that should have been explained.
Maybe it will be explained later.
But there's too much to explain
What builds
later.
a fan base?
That's what I'm saying.
What builds his fan base?
You need to
speculation,
make intrigue,
theory, people talking about it. What we're doing right now is going to build people to listen and want to find out more to see the next movie.
And the plot was all over the place. They went every which way. It just made no sense.
I think what may change, and I do truly believe will change your opinion, is when the future movies are out.
And that I'm counting on.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at this as a standalone movie.
I will say, look at it from the point of view of just Grindelwald building his army. That was the plot of this
Did
movie.
you feel this way after you finished Deathly Hallows Part 1?
No.
Well, she read all the books.
That's true.
No. There's two books.
The movie...
It's actually part 1 and part 2 in the books.
Well, yeah, but you
so
knew the
that
end.
But the movie ended with Voldemort getting the Elder Wand.
Yeah.
That's a pretty abrupt but bad ending for a movie, and you wait a whole year for the next movie? That's how it happened.
And the actual conclusion of that movie, I was not happy with. Just how it was like over.
Yeah.
But
knowing there was a part 2 and you've seen the part 2 and read the books, did your opinion change because you could see it all together? So you just don't like it just because that one movie? That's just, you know.
This is a series, not a movie. Movies have a beginning, middle,
But
and end.
until the series is over, it's a movie.
So again, I'll say this. This is my final thoughts on plot.
Am I wrong though?
No. Here it is.
So as a movie, this was not a good movie.
I didn't say that. As far as plot.
The plot.
As a plot.
The plot looked like it was written by a 4-year-old.
Look, think of it this way. I mean, we can disagree on this, but think of it this way. The plot for this movie is truly, strictly Grindelwald escaping. That's the beginning. Grindelwald planting the seeds to bring people to his side.
Okay, so then why did you need Credence?
Because he wants to kill Dumbledore. Beginning, Grindelwald escaping. Mm-hmm. Middle, Grindelwald placing the seeds to build his army. 3, him bringing people to his side. That is the major plot for this movie. Now, there's multiple other plots that are going on for 5 movies. Those have not been concluded yet because those are going to get concluded then. But for the movie, for this plot, that was the plot. Just Grindelwald building his army. Part of his army is Credence, because Credence is the only person that can kill Dumbledore.
So why did you need Newt?
Because Newt got the blood oath thing from
But
Grindelwald.
anybody could have done that.
No, they couldn't have, because
Dumbledore trusted Newt.
Dumbledore trusted Newt, and he knew Newt could find a way. Because what did Newt say once he got it? He's like, he said, how did you do this? He said, Grindelwald doesn't, respect things that thinks are beneath him. So animals. He wouldn't have thought 2 seconds when he saw a little niffler. But Newt knew he could grab it with the niffler. Because that's what he said. And when he leaves the bounty, he leaves a note. Hey, I'm gone. Took the niffler. Because Newt had that in his mind the whole time. All he do is get in a room with Grindelwald. The niffler will go get it. And Grindelwald won't notice it because he doesn't care about niffler. That was Dumbledore's plan.
And if you're asking just why Newt in general too, Dumbledore says that even in the trailers, Newt doesn't seek power. He only does what he believes is right.
He knows he won't be swayed by Grindelwald. That's why Newt.
I just don't think he needed him.
So, plot overall. What'd you think, Avery?
I put a 7.
Okay, and we talked pretty much about it, so.
Yeah.
Helen, plot?
I gave it a 1.
Gave it a 1. I gave it a 6. All right. So now we're doing, Helen, what you think about directing? You gave it a 1, you said?
And I love David Yates. I love me some David Yates. I have probably watched Order of the Phoenix over 150 times. I kid you not. I watch it usually once a month, just because.
What is your favorite Harry Potter movie?
Order of the Phoenix.
Okay.
Gotcha.
That's when the mood changes. That's when Patrick Doyle comes in with his composition skill, music composition. I'm like, ah! Everything picks up speed.
But you gave it a 1?
Yeah.
So it's a complete waste of time. It's awful.
Yeah. I could have
Avery.
given it a 0, and I didn't.
0's not on our scale.
Exactly.
Okay. Avery, directing, what did you give it?
I gave it a 6.
Give it a 6?
Yes.
Why?
Words. I thought overall it was just really. I thought overall it was good. Just some of the stuff that they did, like if it was just the CGI special effects and the sets that they had was really well done. The editing in the scene where Lita dies, where she says "I love you," that wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for the directing and the way that they took that shot. And everything had its own color palette that I noticed from the beginning to middle to the end. Everything had a distinct color palette. You knew where you were, and especially near the end with giant blue flame monster. Flame dragon. Was that the same spell?
Can we talk about that?
Was that the
as
same
well?
spell that Goyle or Crab used in the Room of Requirement?
I was thinking that, but I wasn't sure.
Because the one he used, they can't
And
defend
they
against
said another
it, right?
Death Eaters. Nick Crawl.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the name.
They definitely said it, but he's a Death Eater family. Anyway, what happened to the blue dragon? Got away, right?
They sealed it or consumed it with the red flames
from everybody else.
Again, magic we don't know about, so
Because magic. It's a Harry Potter world. Because magic.
She's just so good at explaining things, and I just feel she dropped the ball on this one. That's what I'm saying. Like, I want there to be a mystery. I want there to be a cliffhanger. But there also has to be some explanations along the way.
I think she's gonna have to drop. She's either gonna have to drop them in Pottermore or make a book series after the movies are done. I think it's the only way.
And that makes okay.
I mean, I think that's the only way to get all these information that we want. Because what we're doing now with Fantastic Beasts is completely switching the game up, right? It is. Like, we had the books. Books were amazing. Books explain everything.
Here's the thing. This movie will change. I would see this movie in a better light if the plot holes and the cracks and everything are explained. But come the next movie, if some of them aren't, then I'll have an issue with it. Because some of them should not be held off until the 5th book. Like Nicholas Flamel, that whole spell or whatever he's a part of should not be held off until the 5th book.
I don't think the spell's going to get explained.
I think Nicholas probably explain Found Grindelwald's team. Dumbledore has a team, but we don't know much about him yet. I think next we're going to find Dumbledore's team, and they're going to start duking it out.
We met Dumbledore's team.
We met Peace. It's Dumbledore. He has way more up his sleeve. We all know that. So you have one. So directing for me, I gave it a 5. That was very average. I thought it was nothing new came to the table. Nothing shook me and was like, oh man, that was crazy what he did. I think he kept it safe, kept it consistent. Didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was great. I gave it a 5 right down the middle.
I wish he changed his cinematography for each city. He didn't. He kept it all the same. It was very muted.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you could tell a difference in location-wise. I couldn't. It was all dark. It was all rainy. It was all blah. Like it was, except for the circus, and everything else was like, you didn't. Like, I did not care about the world they were in.
Speaking of world they're in, production design. All right, that's the next category. So, again, Harry Potter universe. So, we've been in Hogwarts. We've been in that kind of place in the original Harry Potter movies. First Fantastic Beasts, we were over in America, the American Wizarding World. And then this one, they brought us back to Europe. So, Paris and London, I think, were the main places. In the beginning, they started off in the American Ministry of Magic. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. So different set pieces out there. What did you guys think of the world David created? Avery?
I enjoyed it. I liked it. I will say off the bat, I gave the production design a 8. So you mentioned Hogwarts earlier. I don't know what set they used, but the defense against the dark arts classroom was most definitely the same one they used in either all the movies or especially the second movie with Gilderoy Lockhart.
Because when he comes down the stairs.
I didn't put the band in Banshee.
Harry Potter.
Little did you know, my favorite color was lilac. Oh god. Okay. Did you notice at all when they had like the established shot looking down on Hogwarts? They had a little small, looked like abandoned house. Was that the Shrieking Shack, or was that just a random house at maybe a greenhouse? I don't know.
I didn't look for that.
I just noticed it and I was like, huh, because they constantly change like some locations, like Hagrid's house and stuff. So I wasn't sure if that was something.
Yeah, that definitely would have not have been there.
Yeah. So I don't know, because they do mention it like it's next to the Whomping Willow and like off the grounds just barely, but just something I noticed.
Well, I like that we went to Hogwarts and actually went inside it because that's our third generation that we're seeing in Hogwarts. We saw we saw a little bit of the grounds. They went back to Snape's time at school, and then we went there again in the Chamber of Secrets when Hagrid was going to school.
Mm-hmm. We saw it in Half-Blood Prince as well with the Voldemort's flashbacks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then too. So I think it's kind of cool seeing Hogwarts and those various stages. But where they were when he met Pick, was that supposed to be...
The Great Lake?
Yeah.
I thought so.
But they were like on an island or something.
We don't see much of the Great Lake other than the fourth book and...
But I wonder if that was supposed to be the tree that his parents were under.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's what I thought, maybe.
The part where I was curious what classroom they were in when Lita was like looking at the desk. Okay, but yeah, Hogwarts. It was really nice seeing it again. They did a good job. Like for people who've seen the movies in the past, like you know where you are. You felt at home.
So you gave it a what again?
Oh, production design.
Yeah.
I gave it a 7.
7.
And just everything else, like Nicholas Flamel's house, it was very run down, slanted a little bit. The circus I thought was really cool. Like as low as we did see of it, it was cool seeing it and what a magic circus would be and how they broke it down so fast and easily with the house elves' help.
Slaves.
Yes. Wow, we're laughing.
Let's call them by the real name, slaves. House slaves.
But yeah, I thought it was really good and like there weren't many like huge set pieces, I guess, but of what I do remember, I liked it a lot, and even like the final battle or Grindelwald's speech, that little area, dungeon / Coliseum, theater, I don't know.
Okay. Helen, what do you think? Production design?
I gave it a 7 because I did like seeing all of the different ministries. I like seeing how they're different, but the structure of them is kind of the same. I like seeing Hogwarts. Excuse me, and I like how they use, I guess I'd say I like how they utilize the countries that they're in. So, for example, for the graveyard, that wouldn't have worked if they couldn't go into the graveyard, like go into the tombstone, or what is that thing called?
Crypt.
The crypt, yeah. I like that those are popular in France. And then I like the fact that they use the statue in France that very, like, the woman, like, watching.
Like how they got into the magic.
Oh, that's an actual thing? That statue? Or you just like the portal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it was like their platform 9 3/4.
Kinda. But yeah, I know what you
Anyway,
mean. Yeah. But I mean, I was thinking like it's not where kids go to school. That's why I said no.
Gotcha.
But I know what you mean.
Yeah, I like they used it very well. Again, nothing wrong with the world. They keep expanding the world, and I'm like,
when they were meeting the person who actually gave Credence up for adoption, the guy that attacked her, he like went into the wall.
yes.
What was that? Was that his doing his own little spell?
Yeah.
He
It was
did?
a magic, yeah.
It just was very different. We haven't seen anything like that. And then he like went through the wall and attacked.
I think you know what that reminded me of? Do you know in Monsters Inc. the chameleon?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Because he like scatters and he blends in. I was like, but that's what it reminded me of. But yeah, no, I like that, and I wonder if that's something they learn when they like, because his job is to catch people.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that's something that they learn. Like, you know how Aurors learn different skills?
Like his little like bubble shield, like that like wasn't invincible apparently.
Yeah.
Like
Obscurio couldn't do anything to that thing.
Yeah.
So yes, I think it's just his skill set. Mm-hmm. Like we've never seen a wizard spy before.
And we don't it's adult wizards. Like they've had years to master what they want to master.
So I mean, there's magic. Technically, you can do anything with magic. So, I mean, that's a definitely useful skill. You can sneak through the walls. There's not much you can't sneak up on. So yeah, it was cool. So for me, for production design, I gave it an 8. I think it was this world has been very, very well established off of the 9 movies before it. I feel like we were still there. So I'm always afraid a little bit going into a movie. Are they going to try to do too much or mute it? But I think they kept it right at that level we expect. But again, there was nothing that wowed me. Like the Wizarding World is already wow enough. So that's already gave me that 8. And just the fact that they kept it there, kept it at that score for me.
I love Newt's, I don't know if you call it laboratory or zoo.
His basement.
Yeah.
I think that's what they called it, like the directors and the people building it.
I loved that scene.
I also want to give a shout out to the costume design. I like what everyone's wearing. I'm not the type to kind of look at that stuff too in detail, but
I didn't.
Dumbledore swagged out. I like Newt's little look with the little trench coats. It's like business, but like playful. Everyone, all the girls' dresses are very unique, and I think match their character. I know you mentioned a little bit earlier in the episode. I just know everyone, the way they were dressed, it fit how their character design enhanced all their characters, and I really. Costume design, yeah. That's a character design.
I agree for the most part with you, except for Lita. She was very closed in as a person, and her clothes were very.
But she's kind of like a trophy wife, kind of, which kind of makes sense. Because yes, she's a very closed-in person.
I guess.
But even her husband doesn't really know her that. Like she clearly loves Newt, but even their fiance doesn't even know that. So What's going on, everybody? This is Quentin from MuviesHQ. Unfortunately, there were some technical difficulties and the audio is not at the quality we try to give you guys here at MuviesHQ. In order to mitigate that, I decided to give you guys our overall scores for Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindlewald. For myself, I rated cast as a 7, plot 6, directing 5, setting 8, and sound 5. The overall, that gave me a score of 6.2. Helen rated cast as 6, plot a 1, directing a 1, setting a 7, and sound a 5. Overall, I gave her a 3.8. For my brother Avery, he gave cast a 9, plot a 7, directing 6, setting 8, sound 6. Overall score 7.2. Now, we went into more detail on how we got all of these conclusions and our overall score. We talked about our favorite scenes and worst scenes of the movie. Unfortunately, the sound's a little jumpy and jumbled. So if you would like to punch through it and keep going, please do so. But unfortunately, I'm sorry that this happened, and hopefully we don't have this again. And we do our best at MuviesHQ to give you high-quality audio so you can enjoy this podcast the way it's supposed to be heard. Thank you for your time, and if you keep hanging out with us, thank you very much. Keep listening, and hopefully you like what you hear. Yeah, I don't know what point I'm trying to make. I was trying to explain that. I mean, do you agree? See, I gave it an 8. All right, and that brings to our last category. So, sound effects. What do you think of that?
I gave it 5. I don't think there's anything new. Especially when you use a lot of CGI. I mean, it just didn't add to it. I do like the fact that they can throw in Hedwig's theme, but then change it up. But at the same time, if you're not listening for it, you won't hear it.
But, sorry.
No, I'm done.
I'll say when you said when you're not listening for it, you don't hear it. I think that's what makes some movies sound design good, is when you don't even realize what it's doing, because like sound in movies makes you feel a certain way. If it's an emotional scene, they play sadder music or something like that. When it just blends in that well, I think it's a good thing. And like I mentioned before, on my second, third viewing, I usually try to pay attention to more things like that, and like the more somber tones, the Hedwig's theme and stuff like that. I thought it was really well done. But again, like it was a lot of kind of like reused things, and
Oh yeah, no, but that's what I was saying. I like that you couldn't tell that he took Hedwig's theme directly. Like you had to listen for it. So you had to search. You had to, I guess, really listen to the theme songs.
one thing that I loved, I think it was in the first Fantastic Beasts movie, and especially like in the last few Harry Potter movies, the title card, like seeing the WB logo, and then it goes into the title, and then they usually play Hedwig's theme, and it's like, when I hear that, I just think, I'm here, it's Harry Potter. And that didn't actually happen when they showed the WB logo in this movie. They had some other song playing, and I don't know the name of, but I like that theme. I do definitely look for, but like, everything else, like the sounds of the just magic, and I love the sound and the visual effect of them evaporating or apparating and disapparating. I think it's awesome, like the little snake effect, but overall, like.
Well, they brought that back from.
Definitely, everything after I think Order of the Phoenix. Is Order of the Phoenix, it was just like a pop. Like it looks like they paused the camera and then played the camera with them there and not there. Specifically in the scene when Fred and George apparate from upstairs to downstairs and God,
But the
their hiding place.
But the Death Eaters, when they're flying,
Yeah, they have that little
they're
misty,
black,
yeah.
misty thing. So I think that's what they're basing the apparating and disapparating on.
And like I think we talked about this earlier as well. The part of the movie where everyone's choosing a side and everyone's escaping, it was like a Death Eater vibe type escape apparition. I thought that was just interesting, weird. I don't know why they changed it for that specific setting, but yeah. But not too like it was good, but not like amazing. So I gave it a 6.
So I know we talked about earlier. I think everyone that got out of there was a Death Eater, right?
We don't know that.
Because
Death Eaters aren't a thing yet.
Well, but that size, because then the flames kill everyone that wasn't.
But people who escaped because they didn't want to choose, or they did choose and they didn't want to go to the flames, they could just leave by apparating. That's what Newt and them did. And even when like Tina left, she had that same little misty effect that wasn't the normal.
I know you mentioned, I mean, yeah, yes, it's a rewatch.
Also, Death Eaters, they have different colors. They're black,
Yeah, and this was like grayish.
grayish. It was kind of the
Brown. Yeah.
So, Helen, you gave it a 5, and what did you give it?
6.
You gave it a 6. So I gave it a 5 as well. Again, I think it fit the world. It did its job. But again, nothing stood out to me. I know a couple movies I watched recently that really stood out to me when it comes to sound and design and so that didn't really come at me. And also, so this is composed by James Newton Howard, and he's done the last 5 Harry Potter movies. So I don't think we're gonna hear anything new. He's made his stand. He's made very
Oh, the director? Sorry. No, I know for a fact, I believe Patrick Doyle, excuse me, did well, at least the 5th, because he does the Celtic.
oh, was it the director?
That was the director.
Well, excuse me. Well, he's done other things. He's done other things. He's done The Dark Knight. He's done Batman Begins, done The Dark Knight, and King Kong and Sign. So he's
He's established themes
Yes.
with his music
And
that carry between movies.
so he's done a good job. But nothing stood out to me that like I've had other movies do for me in the past. So I gave him 5 as well. I don't know what to say on that. So give me one scene, either your favorite scene or a good scene in the movie that really got your attention.
Dumbledore meeting Newt for the first time.
That was a good one.
So why'd you like that one so much?
Because it showed, one, it was very quirky, which is Dumbledore to a T. The fact that he's standing on the top of the rooftop and he's
Giving
like,
him his glove.
this idiot.
Glove, yeah.
And then he's like, why are you here? So, the view, of course. And then he misses it. And I'm like, what? Like, just stuff like that. You're like, why would he do that? But the minute he turns around, you're just like,
It was a really good reveal.
And then I like how they kept running in between people, following them.
And apparated in different
Yeah, and
locations.
kept evading them. I thought that was good. So, that took you on a little adventure. So.
Any other scene you want to give shout out to? Or
I liked the scene, back in Hogwarts where Newt and Lita are kids, or students, in their defense against the dark arts class with the Bogart. I love Bogarts, they're one of my favorite characters, or
Beasts, creatures.
In the Harry Potter series. So I like seeing, because you always wonder when you look at someone, you think like, I wonder, who they are or what they're afraid of. And that allows you to do that. So Newt, the fact that his worst fear was a desk job was just like,
so in character.
he's so innocent. But that's what I'm saying, like, he doesn't fear anything except a desk job.
Yeah.
And that was like in the trailer, and the trailer didn't show what Ridiculous did to it, so it was really cool that turned the desk into an animal.
Oh yeah. I watched one trailer. I did a pretty good job of it.
I watched them all, actually. I usually do try to skip out trailers, but I really wanted to see these. I really do like the Dumbledore scene as well. Like you saying that, I was like, dang, that was really good. But I think the reason I didn't think of it as highly was because that like turn Dumbledore does to the camera when Newt finally sees him was in the trailer, so I was not waiting for it. But it was just like, I know what he looks like and everything. But the scene I actually chose it kind of is my best scene, and it was like such a small scene too because of the first movie as well. It was the scene just right before Grindelwald walks out to have it do his speech, and it was like him walking into walking out of the tunnel. It was really dark, and it was just hit the back of his head. In the first movie, it opens up with, not directly opens up, but basically opens up with Grindelwald. I believe it was Grindelwald first, the back of his head, same exact like shot scene, and then later like one thing happens with Newt maybe, then you see Graves, same exact haircut, same exact shot, and like kind of hinting that he was Graves the whole time, and then it was the same exact scene shot in this movie, and I just think it's like a really kind of mysterious, powerful shot, and like just showing him walking out into the light to just put himself out there for everyone to see. I just really liked it.
The other scenes caught your eye?
None that I could think of, just because it took me a little bit just to even think of that one.
Okay. So I'll tell you mine. I have two, right? And again, I think this movie in itself is showing Grindelwald and Dumbledore, right? So the first one is with Dumbledore in the first scene. It's when he's being confronted by the Ministry of Magic, right? Is that it?
Well, when he was at Hogwarts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think it's Ministry of Magic kick his students out.
No, it's not the Minister of Magic, it's the law enforcement guy, I thought, or something.
I think he's the Ministry of Magic. Maybe you're right, it's law enforcement. I want to say Ministry of Magic. I really don't know. But he comes up and he kicks the students out. Yeah, because I think he says, I'm the Ministry of Magic, I can go where I want. I think he says that.
Either way,
Yeah,
it was someone who had power.
Someone who has power walk in. And what I admire about Dumbledore was Grindelwald is how they control or once have the situation under control. And when he's sitting there, he swags up on the desk, and he basically spills up the whole movie in that scene if you really think about it. He goes, hey, I know you're going really hard on this. The more violent the way you're keeping on over the violence and tyranny, you're going to push people to Grindelwald's side. He says that, and by the end of the movie that happens, he said, at the same scene, he says, I need you to fight Grindelwald. He said, I can't. At the time, don't know why, but he can't. Okay, don't know why. And then, where's one other thing? And then, at the same time, he said, the guy in law enforcement that has all the skills in the world, knows Dumbledore has so much he can't pin down exactly what it is. And just knowing, and Grindelwald, and Dumbledore didn't even have to deny it. He was like, I know what I'm doing. We want the same thing. Stop trying to start what's going on. Like, I have to control you. Join me or get lost. Because I'm going to do what I'm going to do. So that was Because Dumbledore's one of my favorite characters in the original series.
As Kingsley says, that man's got stuff.
Exactly. Like,
That's what that reminded me of.
Yeah,
Him
like-
standing up to the mystery.
he's just like Dumbledore is such a powerful character. And again, talking about Jude Law killed it, and I think that was just a very in that one scene he showed that he's running things. I have control, and I know what's going on at all times, which we know he did in Harry Potter.
And at this point in the movie, in the universe, has Dumbledore was he offered the position of Ministry of Magic already?
Yes, because remember he says he turns it down.
Okay.
Oh! He did?
He says it in the original books, but I don't know if this is before then or after then in this movie. He's like, he turns it down because he doesn't trust himself with the power.
I'm not sure. I thought it was implying when he says to Newt, you're the one who doesn't want power.
I think that was just because of his search for the Deathly Hallows in the past with Grindelwald.
I don't know. That was my first scene, and the second scene is just the mirror. So I was like Grindelwald's speech at the very end. So that was Dumbledore kind of saying, I have my team, I have my people. I can come to Grindelwald, churn a bunch of people, because I think when he's kind of speaking for all the spectators, okay, let's just listen to what he has to say. I don't know what he's about, but I want to listen. And he sympathizes with everyone and talks about different things. I want peace, I want love, I want this, I want that. And he churned the whole world is on him, one speech pretty much. And he staged it to have the Aurors come through and kill that one lady. And he said, hey, speak on. Everything he did was great. And at the same time, the same way Dumbledore had everything under control, Grindelwald had that whole scene under control.
Yeah, they are
And
very
did you
much
recognize
alike.
that woman from earlier in the
Yes,
film?
yes.
She was just standing there next to him. Probably wouldn't have even noticed her, but they definitely made a point.
So,
She was side to side.
again, Dumbledore has every one of his things planned out, Grindelwald's, and we know they're really close, so they're basically the opposite of each other. And that's such a cool dynamic to me. So both those two scenes really stood out to me, and that's, again, I think it's a setting up the stage for the future movie, so.
They're opposite, but they're also more like anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like it's just like how they, I guess you could say, how they take things, how they interpret it. But you saying that made me, I really like the scene when he looks into the mirror, Erised.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
And you see the brother.
Just everything.
It's just because
Says a
also
lot.
literally since the first Harry Potter, you were like, what does Dumbledore see? What does he see? And it may not have been what our Dumbledore would, in Harry Potter series when he was older would have seen, but that is the first time you truly see inside Dumbledore's brain.
And like even Jude Law doesn't say anything, but like you can see everything, all the emotions he's feeling in his face.
Yeah.
Like he
Like
acted
you
that scene out.
never get that close to Dumbledore in any of the series.
And I think that's why I think I'm gonna these next 5 movies, because I like Dumbledore a lot. You guys probably like him more than me, but
Like
I think it's just cool.
I respect him, but I don't trust him.
Newt's the main character, but these are Dumbledore and Grindelwald's movies.
Definitely.
Newt is just
Not the catalyst, but the.
it's kind of this storyteller almost.
Yeah. Which looked cool with his eyes.
Yeah.
Kind of through his eyes. Alright, so on top of talk about good scenes, some bad scenes. What do you think were the worst scenes or bad scenes in these movies?
I didn't like the flashbacks when everything was getting when you're learning everything about Lita, all the whole background with Lestrange, what happened with the baby. I like backstory, but I don't like exposition dumps, and that's what it felt like. If like we got one big flashback with with Yusuf, then immediately after we finished that, Lita was like, "Actually, this happened." It was another flashback. I was like, it was just a lot of information at once. It was done fine, but just make it shorter or split it up
I was
better.
like, there's a difference between a flashback and a flashback story.
Yeah.
They made it a whole
It was a long
story.
story. And like it was all interesting, fun information. We needed to learn it, but just the way it was done, I was like, I wanted to be a little
And
faster.
also, it was the same, man. So they had the flashback, and right, they switched to the train story. And then that gets negated by the very end of the movie, too. So both those flashbacks are kind of not even...
Yeah, they're basically, those flashbacks we told you, disregard.
Yeah, forget that.
Yeah, so like, and like even like if I'm watching anything, kind of changing gears a little bit, just specifically like anime, I don't like exposition dumps. I like cafes. Like it seems like really lazy, and it's just like the cameras at one shot and they're just talking. and then they change the angle, they're talking. It's just very boring. I want something more dynamic, and it felt like that, but in a live action type way that wasn't in the cafe or coffee shop.
My least favorite scene was when Grindelwald was talking to his quote-unquote growing army, and they show the war and the hydrogen bomb. That to me was just stupid. I was like, wait, what? It kind of reminded me that we went into like a Wonder Woman story line there or something, and it was also, I don't know, maybe I feel like the special features
Effects?
or special effects, they completely changed for those.
I think that may have been
Everything
intentional.
else was very organic feeling,
I feel like
but that was like,
it felt different, kind of how they did the Tale of the Brothers, the Tales of the Beetle Labard. When they were telling the stories
yeah,
of
the three
the
brothers.
three brothers, like the animation completely changed. But
That was a good thing.
yeah, but I get what you're
But in
saying. It
this
felt
case,
different.
it looked like they just projected, like, went in, were like, hey, we don't want to spend the money for this little bit of special effects. Do you think we could pull it off a cheap way? And I thinking they're like, no one noticed. But yeah, it
I
showed.
think that, or maybe it was just because it was meant to be very foggy and cloudy. It looked bad.
That to me looked like they just didn't do well. And then my second other one was the flashbacks. I agree with you.
Okay, let's go with my biggest complaint is actually at the beginning. So Grindelwald escaping, right? And it's going through the clouds and everything going really fast, and I think they're trying to bring that hectic nature to it. What really got me was the lightning strikes. I literally couldn't watch the screen anymore. I was like squinting and trying to watch what was
But it wasn't
happening.
just lightning, it was spells.
Spells, light, there was just a lot of flashing. I was like squinting to see, and I was like, oh, this is a little over. Maybe because I just got into the movie and it kind of messed me up.
I agree. That happened to me as well.
Yeah, so that was my one complaint. I got it. I understood why it went through that direction. Cause
Changing tones real fast. And
yeah,
But it was also kind of everything was dark. The dark characters, the Thestrals, like the sky, at least had some contrast.
it was dark and there was flashing light in my face and I saw lightning hitting people. And I understand it, but I personally like it.
yeah.
So that brings us down to our overall score. So Helen, what do you have overall for this movie?
Dun dun dun.
I gave it a 3.8. Yes, on average.
Alright. Avery, what do you give this overall?
Mine totaled up to being a 7.6.
7.6. And I told it to be a 6.2. So, we have her here going to overall scores. And give me some final thoughts on what you thought about the movie. So let's wrap up some final thoughts about the movie, people who enjoy this movie, and what do you think made it different?
So overall, okay, my final thoughts are this. Right now I'm giving it a 3.8. I think the most I would ever give it is a 6 if it pays off in the end. Right now though, it seems unnecessary. It seems a little overdone. They're trying way too much. A little hodgepodge of everything going on in it. I think it's for people who may not love Harry Potter, but like yourself, Quentin, who are intrigued by the Wizarding World and they want to know how did the Wizarding World get on before Harry was in it. But people who know too much about Harry Potter, it's kind of, it may annoy you a little bit, just because one, the twist at the end was just, what? But yeah, if it pays off, I will revisit the score and I may up it, but right now there's just too many loose ends.
And I actually readjusted my score. I didn't mean to. I guess I changed it in the middle of this. It was actually 7.2.
Okay, 7.2. Explain your score, overall score, give me some final thoughts on the movie.
I liked it. I liked it. It was good. And when Helen said if you love the Harry Potter series, then you can go either way. I think oh gosh, I don't even know how to word this. Overall, I'll say it was a good movie. A lot of some questions were answered. Some mysteries occurred that just brings more questions. But yeah, like Helen said, if they're answered, that will make this, not for me like a better movie, but rewatching it in the future, it'll be like, oh, that's what that meant. It's like any other movie that has, like the Marvel movies. You see a movie like, oh, that was an Infinity Stone. Oh, that's what that was used for. Something like that. I don't think my score will get better because of anything like that, but overall, I did like the movie.
Okay. Yeah, I enjoyed the movie overall. 6.2, so it's pretty average movie. Helen's right, I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan. I watched the movie, and I enjoy seeing the Wizarding World. I think it's a very magical world. The world J.K. Rowling's created. It's something I think anyone can enjoy and find. From someone that watches a lot of shows and TV shows, I appreciate good story building, and I don't mind the cliffhangers. I don't mind leaving more to be designed and to know more. So I'm feeling optimistic about the story. I think in these next 3 movies, we're going to see a lot more action, a lot more mystery going to be solved for us. So I think it's going to pay off in the end. So I'm optimistic about it. So,
Yeah, I'd like to try to stay optimistic as well.
So we'll see. I know for a fact that this movie is going to drive Harry Potter fans up the wall from just the reviews I've been seeing and online articles, but also from an average movie perspective, it's an average. It's a good movie.
I mean, I would say just as, there's a lot of mysteries, but there's only one that I actually have, only one that I'm really intrigued enough to know more about. And that's the one at the end, the twist at the end. But all those other little mysteries along the way, like, I don't mind if she gets on Potter more, or anything like that. And that's what I think was unnecessary.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So to me, I mean, you can't really get in my mind. I wonder if she knew this was going to happen, and why she threw his head at that. Because again, she's making his own fly, right?
I don't know.
That's a hope.
But I'll let you know that the average score on Metacritic is a 6.2.
Fans
So,
or
fans.
Okay.
Yeah, it only got a 53.
So exactly my school. His voice is the pencil. I mean, they sing fast. But anyway, that's all I got. So, guys, thank you everyone for joining us. Please subscribe and like if you enjoyed this podcast. Leave any comments so we continue to grow as a community. Maybe before you go, can you make another plug for Apartment Shenanigans?
So Apartment Shenanigans is the podcast name that I have co-host with my roommate Ben, and we also have an episode for Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindlewald, and we recorded that immediately after seeing the movie, so it's our complete first impressions, not structured, just talking and discussing the movie, what we thought about, and a little more, I guess you would say, like emotion into that, because it was fresh after seeing it. So if you're interested in that and other things that we talk about, go and check us out on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play Music, and all the major podcast listing sites.
Alright, cool, thank you. So, as always, thank you, Avery. I'm Q.
I'm Helen. I would like to say that I am an avid Harry Potter fan, and this kills my soul to not like this movie. It's literally hurting me, but I do love Harry Potter as well.
And I guess I should say I am also a big Harry Potter fan, Potterhead if you want to call it that, and I am a Hufflepuff and Puckwudgie for Ilvermorny.
Well, that's all we have.